At first glance, Frieren seems like just another medieval fantasy anime full of magic and heroes. It feels familiar, almost ordinary. So how did this show in just over a year rise to become the #1 ranked anime of all time? Frieren achieved what few thought possible. It surpassed legendary titles like Fullmetal Alchemist, Attack on Titan and Hunter x Hunter. Series that spent more than a decade building loyal fanbases and leaving lasting legacies. So what makes Frieren so different? How did a show that begins after the story's ending captivate so many people so quickly? What made Frieren so unforgettable? Frieren introduces us in a simple yet effective way, which most anime in this genre simply fail to do. We are thrown into this world where we are instantly immersed in ethereal music, beautiful still pictures, and vibrant bright colours which is contrasted with a mixture of shadows and sunlight beaming through the leaves onto these new characters. This is all done in the first 10 seconds of the first episode, and from all that it has already surpassed 90% of what fantasy anime fails to do. As the episode progresses, something unexpected happens. Through a brief and almost understated conversation, we learn that Frieren and her party have already defeated the Demon King. The great world-saving journey, the one most fantasy stories revolve around, is already complete. The battles have been fought, the quest is over. There's no dramatic build-up to the final fight, no celebration of ultimate triumph. It's treated not as the climax, but as a memory, something already behind them. Soon after, they say their goodbyes, promising to meet again someday. And it's in that moment that Frieren, beyond Journey's End, reveals what kind of story it truly wants to tell. In most anime, we're introduced to a clear-cut goal almost immediately. Eren wants to wipe out the Titans, Luffy wants to become king of the pirates, Naruto dreams of becoming Hokage. These goals are direct, ambitious, and serve as the backbone for an entire series. They give viewers a reason to stay invested, something to look forward to. But Frieren doesn't give us that, at least not right away. Instead of a grand goal, it gives us a serene world and a cast of characters at the end of their story. That bold choice flips the entire structure of the genre on its head. We're left wondering, where can the story possibly go from here? What's the objective now? This is exactly where Frieren begins to shine. The soft grainy art style gives the world a nostalgic warmth, almost like we're watching memories flicker by. The music is gentle and mystical, wrapping every scene in an atmosphere that feels both comforting and melancholic. Even without a traditional plot hook, the episode keeps us watching, not because we're eager to see who the next villain is, but because we want to know what's left for Frieren. What does a near immortal elf do when the story is over? What will she begin to feel when the people she wants to travel with begin to age, fade, and die, while she stays the same? Right from the beginning, Frieren introduces us to a party of 4 adventurers in a way that feels effortless, yet incredibly effective. In just a brief amount of screen time, we already have a clear understanding of who they are as individuals. Himmel the hero is handsome and charismatic, but what stands out most is his kindness and thoughtfulness. Aizen the warrior is quiet, wise, and humble. Haito the priest brings a cheerful, extroverted energy, while Frieren, our main character, is distant and solitary, more reserved than the rest. These introductions feel natural and meaningful, giving each character depth and individuality. It's something many series struggle to accomplish even over 12 to 24 episodes, where protagonists are often reduced to a single personality trait and side characters are left barely developed. Frieren demonstrates how even the simplest interactions, when done with care, can build lasting impressions and establish strong emotional connections from the very beginning. We're unexpectedly thrown 50 years into the future, a brief flicker in the long life of Frieren. It's during this period that she reunites with Himmel for the first time since their parting. Now old and frail, Himmel is a stark contrast to the man she once knew, and Frieren, in her usual blunt manner, mocks his aged appearance. This moment subtly reveals that Frieren is yet to truly grasp the value of human life, or the quiet tragedy of outliving those she once journeyed beside. Though time has changed him in many ways, Himmel's calm demeanour and friendly witty nature still linger at the core of who he is. He no longer cares much for his appearance, a contrast to how he once was, but this shift only highlights the quiet wisdom he now carries. There's a sense of maturity in him, a depth that wasn't as noticeable as before, yet beneath it all, the same kind-hearted soul still shines through. The group makes plans to reunite and watch the Eremitius shower together once more. During this time, Frieren remarks to Haito, "You're a lot more dignified," to which he replies with a knowing smile, "You haven't changed at all." This exchange highlights a compelling contrast. while the long-lived members of the party, Eisen and Frieren, have remained largely the same over the past 50 years. Those with shorter lifespans, like Himmel and Heiter, have grown and matured significantly. Yet beneath their changed personalities, the essence of who they once were in their youth still lingers. It's a quiet reminder that even as time shapes people, it doesn't always erase who they once were. Those with shorter lives continue to grow and evolve, reflecting the natural progression that comes with the limited time, while the ageless ones remain almost frozen in who they were. The party sets out on what feels like their final adventure together, a journey marked more by reflection than action, one last chance to share the road and relive old memories. As brilliant streams of light streak across the deep night sky, the aero meteor shower paints the heavens in motion, casting a gentle glow over the group. Himmel gazes upwards, lost in the memories of his days as the hero. In that quiet, fleeting moment, he turns to Frieren and thanks her for making their journey so joyful, right up until the very end. At Himmel's funeral, many notice that Frieren doesn't appear sad. She shows no visible emotion towards the death of someone she spent 10 long years adventuring with, someone who clearly cared for her and, from our perspective, was a true friend. Up to this point, Frieren hasn't expressed much compassion or shown many signs of genuine friendship toward her party. To the viewer, it begins to seem as though she sees people less as companions and more as fleeting presences, tools even, drifting through a life she navigates with no clear objective or emotional connection. As the grave of Himmel the hero is slowly filled, there's no music, only the stark rhythmic sound of a shovel striking the earth and dirt landing heavily on his casket. In that haunting silence, Frieren begins to relive her memories with Himmel. For the first time, the reality sinks in. He's truly gone, and she will never see him again. Overwhelmed by the sense of loss, she begins to cry, grieving not just his death, but the time she never took to truly understand him. The absence of music makes the moment even more powerful, allowing the weight of her regret and the finality of Himmel's passing to settle in with devastating clarity. Later, Frieren asks Heiter, "Are you afraid of death?" It's a simple question, but one that reveals a shift in her perspective. The passing of Himmel has clearly left an impression, one strong enough to stir something within her. For the first time, she wants to understand humans on a deeper level. She begins to sense the weight of their short lives and realizes there are feelings, friendships, and emotional connections she never took the time to fully appreciate. And this is where the episode truly shines. In such a short span of time, it managed to explore weighty, complex themes: death, grief, regret, the human condition, while showing how deeply its characters are shaped by the passage of time and the bonds they share. It invites us to consider how someone who will live for centuries, surrounded by people whose time slips away in just a few decades, can begin to grasp what it means to live. In just its first episode, Frieren manages to beautifully bring closure to Himmel's story, highlighting both his significance to Frieren and the impact he leaves on the world she will continue to explore. While the pacing at times may feel slow, the episode unfolds like a fleeting dream, anchored by breathtaking imagery, thoughtful character development, and a rich atmosphere that fully immerses us in this new, arcane world. The first episode concludes with Frieren encountering a young girl while also seeking out Heiter, now nearing the end of his life. Their reunion is brief but meaningful as they reflect on the past and what lies ahead. During their conversation, Heiter makes a heartfelt request. After his death, he wants Frieren to take the girl as her apprentice and help her become a great mage. This moment once again highlights the strength of the episode's storytelling. Following Himmel's death, Frieren began to question her understanding of humans. Now she's given a new purpose. Training and essentially raising a human offers her not only a challenge, but a path toward the connection and understanding she never sought before. It sets the stage for what feels like a new yet profound objective for Frieren, leaving the viewer deeply intrigued about how she will grow and change through this journey. From its breathtaking art and radiant colour schemes, to its mystical soundtrack, rich characters and emotionally layered storytelling, Frieren's first episode stands as a masterclass in how to open a series. It doesn't just introduce us to a world, it draws us into it with an elegance and thoughtful pacing that we don't see in other fantasy anime. It trusts its audience to sit with its silences and reflect on its deeper themes. In just one episode, it tackles the weight of time, the nature of human connection, and the beginnings of change in a character who once seemed untouched by it. This episode isn't just a strong start, it's a reminder of why the first episode matters so much. It sets the tone, earns our emotional investment, and leaves us wanting more. Frieren shows that when done right, a first episode can be both a beautiful goodbye and the promise of an unforgettable journey ahead.